Hey guys, hope this is working. I'm having a problem with the camera. Welcome to yesterday, and I'm saying that because it's 9:30 in the evening, and I'm going to go to sleep soon, so I'm not going to post this video tonight. It's going to be tomorrow. It takes me a long time to post a video because, this isn't a digital camera that I can just wire up to the computer and then, download the video directly and then upload it. I have to transfer the video from the VHS to the blank DVD, and then put the DVD into my computer and extract the DVD, then convert it. So it takes a long time, anyway. Now I've been thinking a bit about hockey recently. I haven't watched much recently, but I want to tell you what I thought about the Montreal Canadiens. In the past 15 years, they've been a pretty miserable team. I started watching them in '94, 93-94 season, and it was a pretty pathetic a decade and a half. I think everybody would agree with that. But I have a theory why the Canadiens have had so much problems since that time, and I'm trying to get like a tunnel inside the tomato. And my theory is this: the Canadiens are a very popular team, right? And everybody wants the Canadiens to win, and it's like they're so popular, and everybody's going nuts over them. And it's like people say it's like a religion or something. But the downside to that is that everybody wants the team to win, right? It's not like when the Canadiens are not doing well, that everybody just stops watching them and say, oh well, we're gonna watch football, or it's not like in Pittsburgh where they have the Steelers or whatever. It's here, aside from the Canadiens, maybe the Alouettes, but it's not the same thing. The stature. I mean, it's not the same thing. So every year people want the Canadiens to make the playoffs, and then when they made the playoffs, when everything's possible, right? And the result has been a bit perverse, because I think if you want to win, you have to start by losing. Because aside from Carey Price, I don't think there has been even one time in the past 15 years, or ever since the '94 lockout, that the Canadiens have drafted, the top 5, or if they've been in the top 10 in the draft, it must have been rare. Every time there's this really top rookie, who's going to be a 50-goal scorer like Pavel Brendel or whatever, the Canadiens are never among one of the top teams that are going to draft them. They're always, oh shit, I made a little... Okay, anyway, so when you have 15 years of constantly being an average team, with the exception of last year, they finished first in the conference, but that was an exception. When you're constantly an average team, you never really progress that much. You have to build your team with trades and free agents. I mean, the only big goal scorer the team has is Kovalev, and he's old now, and he got age catching up with him, and it's not his fault if he's not as good as last year, or he's not as good as when he was with Lang and Straka a few years ago. When you get to 35, 36, your hands aren't as quick as they used to be. You don't have the agility you used to have, And I remember there was a season a few years ago. It must have been in the late 90s, I think, or early 2000s, late 90s. You can check it in the statistics. And that season, there was no player in the Canadiens, not even one player, who had 20 goals. And I don't know if it was that season or the season before or the season after. It was sometime in the late 90s that at some point during the season, I think it was early, maybe November, December, the Canadiens were actually last in the league. They were the last team in the league, and everybody was panicking. And there's this journalist called Bertrand Raymond, who was very influential. I'm going to have to repair that. Wait a minute. Okay. There's this journalist called Bertrand Raymond who's very influential in Montreal sports, and he wrote an article and he said, we've hit the bottom of the barrel. The Canadiens are finally last in the league. Look at how deep we've fallen, and he was all shocked and angry. And the thing is, Canadiens started going up in the standings, and the same thing that happened in 2000, 2001. The Canadiens could have finished last, and I think Kovalchuk was up that year in the draft. They could have finished among the last, but they didn't. They started to keep winning, and that year, Jose Theodore was starting to, near the end of the season, he had some great games. He was starting to show some signs that he might have become a star, and that you got 15 years in which the Canadiens missed out on pretty much every time there was a big prospect out there. And you can see the result last year in the playoffs against Philadelphia. There, I have to repair the little side. I just wanted to have a hole in the middle. Last year in the playoffs against Philadelphia, wait a minute. I have some, last year in the playoffs against Philadelphia, you could see that, the big problem of the Canadiens was glaringly obvious, I think, during that series. And they ran into this hot goaltender, Biron, and they just couldn't get past him. And they have a lot of fast players. They played well as a team. They have great positioning game and all that. The problem is that they didn't have, a player like, Kovalchuk or, Jaromir Jagr, a player like that who was an expert goal scorer who could take any goaltender, no matter how hot he was, and just beat him. And I think the reason why the Canadiens lost against Philadelphia, no matter how well they played and how much they dominated in time possession, puck possession time or shots on goal, is simply because they didn't have this big goal scorer who could just deliver. That they missed so many scoring chances, and I think that was a result of all these years, of drafting like 10 overall or whatever, and always missing out on the prospects, and then trying to get the big players in trades or in free agents when those players were past their prime, like Kovalev, whatever. Remember back in '84, when there was Mario Lemieux breaking the records in the juniors in Laval. You had this young journalist, what is her name, Chantal Maccabi, who was, she's still, on TV covering sports, and then she was playing cards with Mario back then. She was following that team. That was a long time ago, and he was breaking all the records. It was going to be first overall, and the Penguins tanked the season. They really tanked the season because no one cared that they could do it. I mean, they might have lost some ticket sales or whatever, but they didn't have many fans anyway, and well, they had a lot of fans, but they couldn't fill the arena, and things weren't going well. No one really cared that much. They were tanking, and how do I cut this? Got it. And look at what happened. They drafted Mario because they tanked. I'm sure that Kirk Muller was a great player, and he won the cup in Montreal, and he contributed. He was a great defensive player and all that. But Kirk Muller, he's not anywhere near Mario Lemieux, and I don't think that Kirk Muller would have had the same impact in Pittsburgh that Mario Lemieux had. And you have to lose in order to win, and that's why I'm saying the Canadiens should get rid of Carey Price and get me as their goaltender for the rest of the season. Forget the season. Just forget about it. Just tank it. Put me in net, and they're going to lose every game for the rest of the season, and they're going to, draft in the top 5, and they're going to get this great player, and they're going to be the best team in the league. I mean, I'm pretty good at losing games. Back when I was playing soccer in high school, I remember at some point, in soccer, when you're a goaltender, you catch the ball, right? And then you have to, kick it to the other end of the field so that the players are going to, get it, whatever. So I remember during a game in high school as a goaltender, I blocked the ball, and I tried to kick it to the other end of the field, and I accidentally kicked it in my own net. Now, I don't know how that happened, but It did. I kicked the ball in my own net. Okay, so the purpose here is to cook the tomato on the inside, not on the outside. So I put the stuff in here. We're going to use some liquid wrench anyway. But see, you put me on the Canadians as a goaltender, and you know, I'm gonna, you know, even if I try to stop the pucks, you know, they're gonna go by me anyway. So I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna sit there behind the net, and I'm gonna make recipes on the ice. You know, like I have my skates, and I'm gonna be behind the net so that the players can score goals on me, and I'm gonna be scratching the ice with my skate, and you know, making ice cream